And we're back for Foreign Friday. Kermit the Frog returns for day 2 in a row with the hoarseness of, I don't know, some sort of respiratory thing. That's on the backside, thankfully. It just doesn't sound like it. We're traversing the English Channel on Saturday. We're on the English side of the English Channel. And then on Sunday, we're on the French side at Chantilly. And just be forewarned, didn't have a whole lot of information for the French race, so I would pay a hell of a lot more attention to Tom's picks than mine. But hey, you never know. Might get less information, might be more, right? Less is more, as they say. All right, Thomas, before we get started, as always, we have some free picks available for you today at Churchill Downs. Starts with C, I know that. Charlestown tonight. Make sure you take advantage of that, though. Some races, probably not a whole lot of difference between Churchill and Charlestown. And then, of course, sometime later on today, I will post all of our picks and thoughts for the racing at Haydock, York on Saturday, Chantilly, or is that how they pronounce it over there? Chantilly?
Chantilly, yeah.
Chantilly.
We're doing the French Derby.
All right. So I thought we were doing the Epsom Derby all week long, and I was like, yes, Tom and I are going to do this.
No, the French Derby.
Yes. Curveball comes at me, and got me on my front foot, and I swang right over the top of it, Thomas. But
you did a good job.
That's the way it goes. All right, so let's you and I love my new voice. Let's you and I get started in Haydock. How's that sound to you? Haydock, sound good?
Perfect.
And they're going to, Saturday, the first race we're going to do is the Classic Bookmaker Achilles Stakes. This is a listed race. They're going to go 5 furlongs. I should point out that the track is good right now. And according to the weather on Google, I would expect the track to stay that way through the weekend. So should continue to see good footing over there. And if we look at this 5 furlong affairs, I got 9,000 things opened up over here. We're going to start here on Haydock. We're going to run right down to the finish line right in here. Thomas, are there any undulations? Are there any sort of track abnormalities that we ought to know about before we make our pick?
This is a relatively flat track by comparison to some of the ones we do. And it's also your favorite because they go in what direction?
In the wrong direction.
Yeah, the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got sharp turns, which we don't not concerned with this race, or sharper turns, but the straights are so long that it gives you an opportunity to make up some ground pretty quick.
To get into good position. All right. Well, when it's over there, everybody aims to be in the first place position, Thomas. And in this race, who will be the first to cross the line and head into the winner's enclosure?
I'll start with 9. Leovanti. Her last race was a stinker. It was a Group 1 at Newmarket. And that race was last year. It was won by Lady Victoria, who, guess what, won the Irish 1,000 guineas last weekend. So not bad company to keep. First start this season, first start the season before, which was 2. She won her maiden and then went on to win at Royal Ascot and the Queen Anne at this distance. And then they put her at some 6 furlong races, and that didn't work out as well. But now she hasn't lost at 5. She's lost at 6 furlongs. Gets weighed off because she's a 3-year-old and adds William Buick, which generally is a good thing. Number 6, Shargarina, I think it is. I don't know. Ran a decent 4th last time out. And the reason I say that was in that race, the group split. And she was she was in a group of 8. And she was kind of in the back, and then she ran second against that group there. And the winner came out of the other group. So just so you know. So that was on the near side of the track, so stand side. She's going to be behind in this again. Steps up a little bit in class. Like the odds. And I think if she improves anything off that last performance, I think she'll run a good race. 4, no half measures. My final choice. I liked her in the race last time. I was a Group 3 at this distance in Newmarket, and she lost by 7 lengths. She's won before this level as a 3-year-old at this distance. She won a listed race in Deauville at 6 furlongs. I thought about it. I'm going to give her another chance because I think she'll run a better race this time out.
Well, 50% chance she wins. I have the 9 horse. We got the first 2 in order. Giovanni has a Group 3 win. Only concern in here is you got that good 2-year-old starting as a 3-year-old. We've seen plenty of those good 2-year-olds turn into not so good 3-year-olds, but did win both races at the distance. And as you pointed out, Tom, facing a bunch of older horses, which may or may not work to her benefit, even with a weight break. Chagrin. Yes, my voice breaks like a 13-year-old boy today. Resume says third up will be the best of her efforts.
Yeah.
Number 5, 7 questions. The 5 horse, the one we do differ on a little bit there, Thomas. Ran faster last out. And another horse where, according to its CV, should be better in round 2 off of the sidelines. And then no half measures. I think this one's probably going to be your favorite. It looks like it's the favorite right now. Tom has won half of its 12 races, 6 out of 12. I don't know that the form right now merits 11-4 type odds. We'll see if the predictor thinks the form merits what? Wrong card. It's going to say, what? The predictor's giving me the cold shoulder today? Looks like it's going to be a close race. Bam! Balmoral Lady. I don't think either of us mentioned that one, right? No, it looks like no half measures is going to put in a half measure of a race. Chagrin might be the one that actually gets the W for to make a winner out of both of us, Tom. That's the best way, according to the predictor, on this Foreign Friday. We're going to skip forward to race number 5. This one is a mile and 4 furlongs, right? 5? Yeah, race 5.
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah,
right. This is the Betfred Nifty 50. Leicester.
No, this is 4.
Race 4? Okay,
yeah.
Race 4. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's the Nifty 50, Leicester.
It's 4.
Is that Piggott? Philly Stakes?
Lester Piggott. He was a very, very good jockey in England for a long time. And then he came out of retirement for a Breeders' Cup race and rode Royal Academy to a win at Aqueduct.
Very Rocky-esque story.
Yeah. Well, he was, I don't know, Rocky be so much because he won just about every major race. And then some.
I was thinking more like the comeback story, retires.
Well, I think, it was just one of those deals where he got a good offer and came out and went off, because I bet that horse and went off at 7-2. Royal Academy's been a moderately bust as a sire, but he still won a Breeders' Cup.
So we're going to go a mile and 4 furlongs. Oh boy, where are we going to go here? So looks like we're going to probably start in here, Tom. It's an unusual distance, but
yeah, a little bit. But it's it should be starting in that chute
back in here.
Yeah, back in there. I think that's where they start this race.
All right, pardon me. They're going to come out here. They're going to make some of those sharp turns that you talked about, Thomas. So, how important is early positioning, late positioning, running style in your view coming out of that chute and turning left pretty quickly?
This isn't a huge field, so I think that the jockeys that have the outside are going to tuck in probably immediately, and you got a long run. That's the good thing.
I think once you hit that turn here,
that stretch run is almost 5 furlongs. So you got a lot of time to make some ground up.
Yeah, it's almost forever, probably in stretch run terms. All right, Tom. Well, when they're done making that second 5 furlong race of the day, although it being the last 5 furlongs of this mile and 4 furlong race, who is going to be your winner?
I'll take 8. Shaha. Won her last start at Goodwood. It was a listed race. It was her first start of the season, and it was over 12 for a long race, and she won it by a little bit over the length. Her other prior win was on the all-weather at a mile. the best way to describe the race she ran last time was she was moving nicely, and then at the 3 furlongs left to go, she got pushed, and yeah, she won nicely. Number 2, Beautiful Love. Yeah, and she'll be the favorite. I would be very surprised if she is.
Mm-hmm.
2, Beautiful Love is my next choice. Last time out, she ran at York. I didn't like her chances, and I was wrong. She finished second, but I was also right because the winner won by 12 lengths. So you can interpret that the way you want to. She went off at 12-1 in that race. She's run third to Cinderella's Dream in the start before that. Her Gulfstream race was the Fillies mare's version of the Pegasus, and it was not much of an effort. And she ran a good 4th at 30-1 in the Breeders' Cup race. I think you get some odds on her, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think 4-1 is pretty good, to be honest, on a Appleby Buick. Finally, I'm going to go take number 6, Invisible Friend, which I think is an appropriate name for a horse.
Mm-hmm.
She won her first start last year at York. It was in a handicap race, and then took a few months off, returned with some very average effort, to say the least, from that win. And then the rest of the season, she ran at Haydock, she ran at Doncaster, she ran at Chantilly, and she had a 2nd and 2/3. So that's not bad. She's ready. I think you're going to get some odds. Right now you are. And she's been drifting downwards and upwards, and so I don't know what that means exactly. But why not give her a shot?
Yeah, it means that there's a ceiling on the odds, is what that means.
Because I am.
So I'm going to start a couple of horses up with Chorus, slightly coming down in odds, taking a shot here in the second start after a layoff. And the horse usually runs a whole bunch of races in a row before taking a break. And the last time the horse came off the bench and then in round 2 improved enough to win by 5. Let's see if he can win by 5 today. Shahaha should be one of the co-favorites in there. And 3 of her 4 races would probably be strong enough to win this one as well. But unlike the 4-horse, who showed a lot of improvement in the second start up, this one, the only time it made 2 starts in a row, the second start up was a bit shaky-legged. So we're going to have to shake that history. Invisible Friend, those are the only kind that I have, Thomas. Taking another flyer in here because it may well be a horse for the course. It's run at Haydock 2 times, and guess what it did in both of them?
Ran second.
Second, I had it down as winners.
Ran second in one of them.
Anyway, does run well enough in the first up outings like it's going to do today. And then the other co-favorite in here is Estrange, the 5-horse. Smashing wins in its 2 out of 2 races on a soft surface. But the one time the horse got a good surface, it got absolutely smoked. So good equals bad for Estrange unless it can shake that reputation as well today. Let's see if the predictor agrees with any of our thoughts. Last time we picked a completely different winner. 2, Beautiful Love. I think that was Thomas's horse. Then Shahaha. Then Estrange up in the mix, and everybody else in the back. Way back. And plenty of these horses with that long race could end up way back. It wouldn't be shocking at all. Hopefully not any of the ones that we picked, however.
Well,
the last race for you and I will be race 5. This one is the Bedford John of Gaunt Stakes. Sounds like a good thing to be the John of, anyway. This one's going to be 7 furlongs. If we take a look at the track here, 7 furlongs. Boy, they're going to go.
It's not on this map. There's actually no. I'm sorry. This is right. It's going to come around that turn. Never mind. I'm thinking York.
That's a pretty quick turn right there, too, Tom. I'd imagine being on the inside would be somewhat useful, or is that just not illustrative?
No. It's go back to the where the 7 see inside I or O, inside or outside.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the inside course for the 7 furlong race.
All right, so it's going to be back here more.
Yeah.
So they're going to come out here and come their way around. All right, well, we'll see how that works out, but still a little bit of time to get to that turn, but still kind of moving outward. So it still makes that turn a little bit tight. Would you prefer to be inside or outside, or you don't think it's going to matter?
I will have to see how the track is playing. You'll have some races to see if that inside is the better ground to be in. And again, you're going to run 2 furlong. You're going to run on a straight for a furlong. You're going to second furlong basically is the turn, which is tight, and then you've got a little less than 5 furlongs to get home.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of it'll be coming into that placement for that sprint home, I would think.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be in striking distance.
Yeah, they're gonna, and they'll in typical English racing style, they'll probably dawdle until about the third with 3 furlongs left to go, and then we get the race will be on.
They'll light the fire. All right. Well, when the fire is lit, who's going to burn the brightest?
Now I'm going to start with number 7, Quinonat. Now, last ran at Dubai at 6 furlongs. It was 7th in that race. It was on the Dubai World Cup day or evening. And that was behind Believing, which is a pretty good horse. And there were also some other decent horses in that race, too. Prep race was in Qatar. Ran 3rd behind Rogue Lightning. It's going to be returning to 7 furlongs. I think that's probably good. And it's done okay. I think this one may have a really good chance in this bunch. It's one of those ones, it's shown some potential and then shows potential. So I'm going to go with it's going to show better this time around.
The lights on, lights off horse. You're predicting on.
It seems to be. I'm going to go with 2 next. LA about Nanaba, I guess. I don't know. One is his first start of the season in a listed race at this track last time out. Beat a good horse with Tiber Flow and went off as the favorite in that race. It was even money. The last time it ran 7 furlongs prior to that was as a 2-year-old, and it lost to a horse by the name of City of Troy.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good horse. So now they're in between those races from the last one to that other 7 furlong. They tried longer distances of a mile and a mile and a quarter, and it didn't work out too well.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe this is a 7 furlong horse, and those odds kind of reflect that there are other people who are thinking the same thing I am.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I'm going to take 8 Room Service as my final choice. It won his last start going 6 furlongs. It was at Doncaster. Won it by a neck. It was a listed race. He's had reasonable efforts in handicap races, but I'm thinking he's going to step up here and run a nice race against this one. The odds are not as big as I thought they were going to be. And I've seen on another one, it was 9-1. So they're drifting downwards. So maybe I'm not crazy, and there are other people thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're just crazy too.
Well, that is always proven very true after they run the race.
It's always in the realm of possibilities. It's on the bell curve. All right. Well, I think Ken Ross should be on the bell curve too. This one runs very hot. When it gets a little bit of time to R&R in the barn, eat some of the better hay.
Yeah, he's 8 years old now, so he's won some big races.
And he's won 8 of 15 at the distance. So the 8 in the 8, according to our friend Private Ryan, that's got to be a cryptic code for sure. I agree with you on Ali and Abi. All right, the 2 horse. We'll go with that name. Won his last race, first up, and lone trip around the Haydock course. That was last time out. And its resume says, expect a better effort in round 2 off the bench. Mount Athos, the 6 horse. Here we go to the 25-1. Your horses are going down in odds. Mine are going up in odds, Todd. So, Tom, proving I am the crazier one of the 2. Its first up record is pretty solid, as well as its efforts on a good footing track. So I think this gives that horse its best chance to show up today. And then number 5, another little bit of a long shot in here. Keep it coolie, maybe. I have no idea. It's another one of those horses that history says in the second up should be at least as good, but more likely better in the compared to the first up. And the horse also works pretty well when running on good turf. And Ocean Murphy's not necessarily a bad jockey, I don't suspect.
O'Sheen is very good.
The predictor, not so much when it disagrees with me.
No.
This one looks like it's going to be a bit more competitive. Another horse that you and I did not mention in there, Spycatcher.
Spycatcher, yeah.
Otherwise, you're Quinault right there, Tom. So if Spycatcher is as bad as I thought he was, and you thought he was, so we probably just put him in the winner's circle or enclosure, then you're Quinault at 20-1. So maybe the predictor is why the odds are drifting lower.
Very possible.
So we're going to dart over to York for our 4th Saturday race. This one is the William Hill Bronte Fillies Stakes. It's a Group 3 for horses that are 4 years old and up. And in this case, they're going to run 1 mile and 6 furlongs, or in this version of English, 1 mile and 3/4. 1 mile and 3/4 on this track. Oh, boy. It's going to be back here.
Back in the chute.
Yes, they're going to come all the way up here. So this is another one where it looks like they get a pretty good amount of runway before that turn. They come down here. Is this one of those turns that looks tighter in the condensed version of the picture?
Yeah,
or is
it's not as tight as it looks there.
And how are many of these races won, Tom? I mean, just like you said, dawdling out of the start and then sprint to the finish line?
Yeah, especially at this distance. So it's more of a, one of the problems I had in looking at this race was who's going to be on the front end. Because it doesn't seem like any of them particularly interested in being there.
It's going to be a blob race where they all run around the track.
Yeah, I think they're going to run in pretty compact bunch.
Well, just to point out again, the track is good right now at York, and according to Google, it should stay that way. It's going to be 72 degrees and sunny on Saturday after a 68-degree and sunny day today. So I wouldn't expect to see the footing change at all. So with that being said, Thomas, who will have the best footing of all as they make their way home?
I'm going to start with number 7, Terms of Endearment. She's run poorly in her last 2 races. One was in Dubai against a really good field. And then she went off the favorite in October of last year at Perry Longchamp. And that was in a Group 1 that was on Arc Day. And, yeah, she didn't run. But prior to that, she won 2 races in a row. One was a Group 2, one was a Group 3 at distance. She's won on all kinds of going, so that doesn't, if it rain, all of a sudden we have a huge cloud outburst, this horse still probably got a good chance.
So if Eeyore shores up at the track.
Yeah. The other thing with this horse is her races are spaced very far apart. For a 6-year-old, she hasn't run a lot. And, and she's off anywhere between 68 to whatever number of days. So obviously she runs and then they put her away. And so I think a little bit of a class relief, I think, is going to make a difference and put her in the winner's circle. Number 6, Sueno is going to be my next choice, or Suno. She ran well in her first start of the season, was at Goodwood. She's done okay. My top choice in another race, Shaha, won that race that she ran. So now she's going to try a little more distance. She ran 4th in that race. She only has a maiden win. That was on the all-weather. But interestingly enough, it was at 12 furlongs. So they obviously think this is a horse that wants distance. Last race was long. This one's long. I think that's probably a good sign. And finally, I'm going to take 5, Scenic. She ran 2nd to Shah last time out. And she was the favorite in that race. She's won at York before, going 12 furlongs against Listed Company. That was in August of last year. She's yet to place in a group race. So she's got black type and listed, but not in higher company. But I think based on this race, the form she's in, I think she's got a good chance of hitting the board and get a little black type. I don't know about the win part, but I do like the placing part.
Yeah, I was going back and forth. There's only 7 horses in this race, so I'm restricted by the Sean rules. And you got 3 horses in here that are pretty much Coco favorites in there in the 5, 6, and 7. But I decided to go a little bit different route in here, which is not surprising. I'm going to go with the 4 horse, Jane Temple. The horse has run 3 times. All of them have been pretty solid races, but they're all on all weather. If you read in the comments, it looks like this horse has a lot of juice at the end of the races. And pull away from the pack, just that kind of commentary. If you read between the lines, that the horse just made easy work, maybe easier work than what the past performance shows. The only question is going to be the switch from all weather to turf, and if they can handle the all weather to turf switch, and many horses make that comfortably. I think getting that extra distance with that late jetpack could be the difference for Jane Temple. I was thinking about Scenic or Sueno. Scenic beat Sueno pretty handily last time out. The bettors put a lot more money on Scenic than they did on Sueno. So I'm going to trust our good friends that make their way to the track over there, like York Shamrocks Football Club, who will be at York races tomorrow, and inviting you and I there, Tom, if we ever want to go. So we'll put that on our list of places to go.
I would love to go.
Yes, indeed. So with that being the case, I went with Scenic over Sueno. So I trust the folks on the ground better than I trust myself. And then terms of endearment, for sure, Tom has faced a whole lot better than it's squaring up against here today. But, and this is a big but, the form in the last 2, not so good. So maybe a shorter field against lighter company. If this was against a bigger field where it can run into problems or maybe get a little bit more discouraged, I probably would have picked Sueno over it. But I think the shorter field in the class relief will be a difference maker for terms of endearment here. All right, let's see if the predictor thinks that the shorter field, well, it says that, bam, terms of endearment will like the smaller field. Then Divinia Grace, another horse that we didn't pick in there. Crystal Flyer in there. Jane Temple, they're going to be in last place. Apparently, the predictor doesn't know how. It's like a Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. Has no idea how to convert all-weather form to a turf form. Whoever wrote that algorithm is going to have to fix that. Before we move on to Sunday, Tom, it's always important to note, if you like what we do here, please hit the like button, subscribe button, follow us on all of our social sites. You see them streaming down below. Facebook, YouTube. Well, YouTube is Horse Racing Radar TV. Facebook, X, Instagram, all of the other ones. Horse Race, the number 2 day. And that's because of a stupid decision I made many years ago. One of many, as those who watch the show on a regular basis are familiar with. Final race for you and me, Tom. We're going to skip over the English channel. We're going to head over to Chantilly on Sunday for race number 4. The Qatar Prix du Jockey Club. I'm going to do my best French accent there. It's going to be on...
Or the French Derby.
The French Derby. Well, they didn't put that there, so I have to go with what's on the screen. They're going to be on soft, and I would guess, based upon the weather forecast, I wouldn't expect that to change. Although it's nice today, it's going to rain tomorrow and then a little bit overcast on Sunday. So perhaps the footing might firm up a little bit. I wouldn't expect a whole lot of it. This race, Tom, they're going to go 1.5 miles furlongs. So if I take a look at this track, 1.5 miles furlongs. Oh, Lord, how many meters is this one?
2,000.
2,000?
Yeah.
So I have no idea where they're going to go. Probably start here and make their way around. I have no idea. But they're going to run around that track somewhere. Tom, have you any idea where they're going to get going?
Somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. I
remember, it's your favorite is clockwise, not counterclockwise.
Mm-hmm. So they'll run around. I'm going to guess they're going to be right around here somewhere and make their way around the track. But if not,
we should have gotten a better thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I should probably do better than that. Yeah. But the problem for me is there wasn't so a lot of times Brisnet has there's one on, if you Google International Hollywood, the people who do like the Ohio tracks, for whatever reason, they have a lot of international stuff in there, which is, it's just phenomenal. But
Hollywood, They must have a following, because why would you spend any time or money trying to make those links? I don't know.
Yeah, but they have it's really good.
Yeah,
But
maybe if we click on Chantilly and the name in here, it'll give a better layout of the track.
Here?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Open that and see. No, we're not. We're
Yeah, no. I just Google race maps, but yeah, it doesn't help me anyway. See signposts, maybe. I don't see anything in here. All right. Well, anyway, let's go back to where we were before and see.
Nonetheless, it's still a 1.25 mile race, just like many of the Derby type races are.
And just again at the top of the show, much like the track, the amount of information that's available is limited. So I would pay far more attention to Tom.
Go on to your settings
in an 18-horse field.
Yeah, go into your settings
and
put in form.
There
and
we go.
Put in full pedigree is of some use here, and you'll get some information.
Maybe comments. All right, here we go.
Oh, comments they won't have much of
because
it's foreign racing, but this you will get some data here.
Well, according to your data, I'm going to put a lot more weight in your picks than mine. So yours are the ones we're going to go with, and then we'll see what the predictor has to say. I'll put my thoughts out there.
No predictor.
No predictor?
No, it's Chantilly.
What kind of crap is that? All right. No predictor for this race. So you and I, unfortunately, have the role of predictor, Thomas. So
we are.
Who do you predict?
I'm going to start with the favorite, number 15, Camille Pizarro, as my top choice. So Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore combination. Ran third last time to stablemate Henry Matisse in a Group 1 at Prairie Longchamp. First start of the year was lost to a horse that went on to win the Irish 2000 Guineas. So that's pretty good. This is a horse I think prefers the soft going. And that one race in Group 1 on Arc Day at Prairie Longchamp at 7 furlongs, it won by a neck and at decent odds, actually. We'll see. I mean, the distance is a question mark, without my breeding isn't, because it would certainly be bred to go this long. But we'll see what this horse can do. I'm thinking it's going to be a tough one to beat. Next one is going to be number 5, Le Phare. And got 2 starts, 2 wins, and a second in 3 starts. And they were all this year. So nothing as a 2-year-old, but January, then March and May. So there's a little bit of maneuvering between. First start was on the all-weather. It's missed by a neck last time out, and it was a short. I mean, it was just missed. The distance is not a question. I think it'll make the distance without any problem. And it likes the soft, good to good soft. So it should like these conditions. And finally, I'm going to take a wild card because
what you do.
I do. And that's number 17, Sin Alio. This is a horse that was one race. It won it. It was at Chantilly. Won it by length. The rider, Maxime Guillaume, had choices in this race of other Andre Fabre horses to ride and picked this one. And he's a pretty good jockey. Oh, yeah, you got to look at it. I mean, time was not fast, but you got a top trainer, top jockey, one race, mile race, looked good winning it. Got to wonder why they put this horse in there.
Yeah, well, and why the jockey made its selection.
And made its selection. Well, he's probably got more knowledge than I'll ever have on riding horses. So I have to think that maybe he's found something more interesting, because he could have ridden 16. He could have ridden there was another one too that Andre Fabre had.
Number 6, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. And he picked this one, so it's interesting.
Well, I picked this 105 horse instead, the 16 horse. This horse always been well bet, and I don't think that the distance is going to make an issue whatsoever for this horse. Only one second in there. Everybody else is winning. One thing I don't like, though, sometimes you see it was first to 7, second to 7, first to 7. Small field by comparison today. So you don't know how the horse will handle trouble. Should it run into some of it? The Camille Pisario, Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, as you've pointed out, we've known on this show for a long time, cannot overlook that combination. But this is one that has squared up against some deeper fields. So I think that could work to its advantage here. 2nd out of 20, 3 out of 16. So having all that excitement around them won't much matter. The 6 horse, I'm going to go with that one next. Cauliflower. I don't think that's how they pronounce it, but that's how I will do it right now. Cauliflower, that one right there. Winner of 3 races in a row, Thomas. First to 7, first to 7, first of 8, 4 out of 10, 3 and 11, including its last race, which was at this track. So maybe.
But it's also revealing that the jockey that got off is on your top choice.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's a good thing.
And
then number 4.
You're losing much by having Buick on.
Probably not.
No.
And then finally, maybe they're actually gaining something, but who knows? And then finally, I'm going to go with this one right here, Tipinizzo. I think that's how you pronounce that. It's run 4 times, Thomas, and so far has not run a bad race. So we'll see if indeed getting a little bit more distance today could be useful.
My concern with that one, and the reason I passed on, even though I like the trainer, I think he's won this race before, but he's running at a minor track. He's not on one of the bigger Deauville, St. Cloud, or Paris Longchamp or Chantilly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I get that.
A little nervous, and you can tell by the money he's running for is.
I have no idea what the odds are, though. So no idea who the odds are. Very little data to work with. So I'm making the selections on bare bones, Mr. Thomas. This is like going to the track, putting the names in the paper bag and pulling them out, except I just use the random horse selector that I have created in Excel. Works great sometimes.
It did.
Yes, indeed, for sure. All right, well, that wraps it up for this week. I don't know that next week if there will be a Foreign Friday. That'll be up to Tom and Terry, who will do the hosting duties for Parks Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday will be Delaware Park. On Thursday, they'll open the doors at Saratoga for the Belmont Stakes weekend. We will have the wagering guide available early next week with all of the Belmont Park picks for Friday and Saturday. So make sure you use the link in the description here on YouTube to head on over there. Take advantage of Charlestown free picks tonight. There'll be some free picks on Saturday, some free picks on Sunday. We always have a free track out there for those of you who like to play the ponies on this side of the pond. And that's about it for today, Thomas. Any final thoughts from you before we get up and get out of here?
Well, we're playing a whole bunch of different tracks this time around. And we did get a Derby out of this bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these races to where we did was also going to be reflective a couple weeks from now, which is Royal Ascot. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a number of these horses, especially if they run well in it, like the sprint, the 5 furlong sprint. You see them show up in some of that kind of races. And you know the fields will be tiny in those races.
Yeah, they'll be real small. You have like 40 horses to pick from.
A 5 furlong race in a straight at Ascot. Yeah, I think 30 horses.
That's where the number generator actually probably is a better option than handicapping, because you might get some long odds, and if you just get one right, the whole week pays for itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, 151 shot would do the trick.
Yes, and then you can change your moniker.
Yeah.
Pardon me, I had to mute myself for a second. Tom will be away after that, so next Foreign Friday, if there is one, will be the last one for a little while. We'll still figure out something to make some picks for Royal Ascot. That'll be available on our social sites down there below or over at horseracingtoday.net. Again, sometime later on today, I'll post all of our thoughts for the weekend racing in England and in France. And then again, next week, Terry will post all of the content on horseracingtoday.net as well. You'll know all about that from our social sites down there below. no matter what you're doing from now until the time we get back together again, for me, that won't be this Monday, but probably the following Monday. We certainly hope you have God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing that you do between here and there ends up in
the winner's enclosure.
Indeed. I don't know how to say, was it c'est la vie in French? To say goodbye? I don't know. If it is, c'est la vie.